Most people think confidence is something you either have or you don't. Like height, like eye color. Something fixed inside you that was decided before you had any say in the matter. And if you weren't born with it, if you grew up shy, uncertain, second-guessing every word before it left your mouth, then you spend your whole adult life watching other people walk into rooms like they own them, wondering what they have that you don't. That belief is the mistake, and it is costing people enormously. Because here is what the science actually says. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is not a fixed quantity buried somewhere inside you. Confidence is a skill, and like every skill, it can be built, practiced, and developed by anyone willing to understand how it actually works. The problem is that almost everything you have been told about how to build it is wrong. Let me start with the most repeated piece of confidence advice in the world. Fake it till you make it. You have heard this 1,000 times. The idea is simple. Act confident even when you don't feel it. Perform the behavior long enough and eventually the real thing follows. It sounds logical. It gets repeated everywhere. Self-help books, coaches, motivational speakers, well-meaning friends who want to help but don't quite know how. And it does not work, not in the way people think. Here is why, when you fake confidence, you are sending a very specific message to your brain. The message is this: what I am doing right now is not authentic. There is a gap between who I am and how I am performing. And your brain, which is extraordinarily good at detecting inconsistency, registers that gap every single time. The result is not growing confidence. It is growing anxiety about being discovered. Think about it this way. Actors who play confident, powerful characters for years on screen do not automatically become more confident in their real lives. Some of the most commanding performers in the world are deeply anxious people in private, because performance and identity are fundamentally different things. One happens in front of an audience. The other is who you are when no one is watching. And here is the part that most people never consider. When you fake confidence repeatedly, you are also training yourself to believe that your real self, the uncertain, unpolished, not quite ready version, is not acceptable. You are telling yourself that the only version of you worth showing the world is the performed one. That is not a foundation for confidence. That is a foundation for shame. Faking confidence does not build the real thing. It just makes you a better actor. And actors still go home to the same person every night. So what actually builds it? Here is what almost nobody tells you. Confidence is not the feeling you have before you act. It is the feeling you develop after you act. Read that again slowly. Most people treat confidence as a prerequisite. You need to feel ready before you start. You need to feel certain before you speak. You need to feel capable before you try something difficult. And because they never feel ready enough, they never start. And because they never start, the confidence never comes. It is one of the most elegant traps the human mind has ever constructed. You are waiting for a feeling that can only be produced by the very action you are refusing to take until you have the feeling. The psychologist Albert Bandura spent decades studying what he called self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to handle specific situations. And what he found was this: self-efficacy does not grow from positive thinking. It does not grow from affirmations or vision boards or telling yourself you are enough. It grows from mastery experiences. Small moments where you attempted something difficult and either succeeded or survived. Both count equally, both build the evidence file. Because that is what confidence actually is at its core. It is an evidence file. A collection of experiences that your brain has logged as proof that you can handle hard things. Every time you do something difficult despite feeling uncertain, your brain files that away. Every time you speak when your voice shakes, your brain notes it. Every time you make a decision without knowing how it will turn out, your brain records it. Every time you survive a failure that felt unsurvivable, your brain adds it to the archive. And slowly, over time, the file gets thicker. And when the file is thick enough, you stop needing certainty before you act. Because you have proof, real proof. Not belief, not hope, proof that you can handle whatever happens next. You do not think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. I want to give you a real example of how this works. When I started this channel, I was not a confident person on camera, not even slightly. I would record a single video and watch it back 20 times, cringing at every pause, every stumble, every moment where I looked unsure of what I was saying. I deleted more videos than I published. I rewrote scripts so many times that by the time I was done, the original idea had been polished into something completely flat and lifeless. The personality was gone. The point was barely there. The advice I kept getting was the same. Just be yourself, be natural, relax, be confident. None of it helped. Because the problem was not that I lacked the right mindset. The problem was that my evidence file was nearly empty. I had very little proof that I could do this well. Every time the camera was on, my brain searched the file for reassurance and found almost nothing. So it defaulted to the only logical response it knew: panic. What changed things was not a shift in belief. It was not a morning routine or a journaling practice or a conversation with a coach. It was repetition. Publishing videos even when they were not good enough. Speaking even when my voice was uncertain. Showing up consistently in the uncomfortable space of being seen, being imperfect, being a work in progress, and continuing anyway. Not because I felt confident, but because I had decided that waiting for confidence before showing up was a game I was never going to win. And slowly the file filled. Not dramatically, not in a way I could point to and say, there, that was the moment everything changed. It was gradual, quiet, almost invisible from the inside. Until one day I noticed that something had shifted. The gap between how I felt and what I was capable of had narrowed. Not closed but narrowed. And that narrowing was real. It was earned. It was mine in a way that no amount of faking could ever have produced. That is how confidence actually builds. Now here is the second thing most people get wrong. And this one is more subtle but just as damaging. People treat confidence as a general thing. You are either a confident person or you are not. You either have it globally or you are without it entirely. But this is not how confidence works at all. Confidence is always domain-specific, always. The surgeon who is completely calm in an operating room, whose hands are steady, whose decisions are made without hesitation, who has operated under pressure hundreds of times, might fall apart at a dinner party. The entrepreneur who can pitch investors without blinking, who can field hard questions and redirect conversations and project certainty in a boardroom, might be unable to have a difficult conversation with their partner without their hands shaking and their voice going flat. The athlete who performs flawlessly under competitive pressure, who has trained their physical response to stress through years of repetition, might crumble the moment they are asked to speak about their sport in front of a camera. This matters for two reasons that most people never consider. First, when you call yourself an unconfident person, you are almost certainly not telling the truth. You are confident in something. Multiple things, You have areas where you move through the world without hesitation, where your accumulated experience has built a thick enough evidence file that uncertainty feels manageable rather than catastrophic. The problem is you are using your weakest domain to define your entire identity. You are taking the area where your file is thinnest and declaring it the whole story of who you are. That is not accurate. That is not fair to yourself. And it shapes how you move through the world in ways that cost you every single day. Second, it means the path forward is specific. You do not build confidence in general. You build it in the exact area where you need it. Through specific practice, through specific exposure, through specific repeated experiences in that specific domain that give your brain the evidence it needs to stop treating that area as a threat. Telling yourself to just be more confident is like telling yourself to just be more skilled. At what exactly? The question matters enormously, and most people never ask it. Here is the third mistake. And this one might be the most quietly destructive of all. People confuse confidence with the absence of fear. They watch someone stand on a stage and command an audience of 500 people without notes, without hesitation, without any visible sign of distress. And they think, that person must not be afraid. There must be something in them, some quiet internal reservoir of calm that I was never given. And so they wait until the fear goes away before they try. And they keep waiting. And the fear does not go away. Because fear does not go away by waiting. It goes away, when it goes away at all, by being walked through repeatedly until the nervous system learns that it is survivable. In a long-term study of high performers across multiple fields, athletes, surgeons, performers, executives, researchers found something that directly contradicts what most people assume. The highest performers were not the ones who felt no fear. They were the ones who had developed what the researchers described as approach motivation. The practiced ability to move toward difficult things while the fear is still fully present. Not after it dissolves, not after they feel ready. While it is there, uncomfortable and loud, they move anyway. Eleanor Roosevelt, by most accounts one of the most publicly confident women of the 20th century, wrote and spoke frequently about being afraid. Genuinely afraid. She was terrified of public speaking, terrified of confrontation, terrified of being publicly criticized in ways she could not control or contain. She did all of it anyway. Not because she had somehow trained the fear out of herself through willpower or meditation or positive thinking. Because she had come to understand that the fear was not a signal to stop. It was simply weather, uncomfortable weather. The kind you walk through rather than wait out. She is often quoted as saying this: "Do one thing every day that scares you." And she did not mean dramatic things. She meant the small daily acts of choosing discomfort over safety, of walking toward the thing rather than away from it. Because she had learned, and neuroscience has since confirmed, that the more consistently you move toward the things that frighten you, the smaller those things become. Not immediately, not painlessly, but steadily over time, with enough repetition. Discomfort practiced regularly stops feeling like danger. And when it stops feeling like danger, you stop needing courage to face it. It just becomes something you do. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the habit of acting anyway. There is one more thing I want to cover, and this is the thing that destroys more potential than almost anything else I have ever seen. Comparison. Theodore Roosevelt called comparison the thief of joy. He was right, but it is also the thief of confidence. And here is exactly why. When you compare yourself to someone else, you are almost always comparing your inside to their outside. You see their results, their highlights, their achievements in the moments they choose to make visible. You do not see their private evidence file. You do not see the years of accumulated practice that look to you like natural ability. You do not see the failures they processed quietly and moved past without announcing. You see the finished product and assume they arrived there without the process. You see where they are and assume they started there. This was always a human problem. But social media has turned it into something we do hundreds of times a day without even registering it. Every time you scroll, you are consuming a carefully curated stream of other people's most impressive moments. Their promotions, their relationships, their accomplishments, their best versions of themselves photographed in the best light at the best moment. And your brain, which evolved to assess your standing in a community of perhaps 150 people who you knew in full, is now trying to calibrate your worth against millions of strangers you know only at their surface. Your brain was not built for this, no one's was. And what happens is predictable and consistent and deeply unfair to you. You start measuring your beginning against someone else's middle. Your doubts against their confidence. Your private failures against their public victories. Your unedited inner life against their carefully edited outer one. And the conclusion you draw, that you are behind, that you are less capable, that confidence is something other people were simply given and you somehow missed, is completely wrong. It is based on a comparison that was never fair to begin with. but it feels real. It feels like evidence, and your brain treats it as such. Here is the only comparison that tells you anything true. You today versus you 3 months ago. That is it. That is the only metric that is based on actual information about your actual life. Everything else is noise dressed up as data. So let me tell you what all of this means in practice. The first shift is to reverse the sequence. Stop waiting to feel confident before you act. Start acting and allow the confidence to follow. It will follow, it always does, for anyone who stays in the process long enough. But it follows action. It does not precede it. The second shift is to get specific about where you want to build it. Not confidence in general. Confidence in this specific situation. In this specific kind of conversation. In this specific professional context. Then find the smallest possible version of that situation and do it. Not perfectly, not impressively, just do it. And then do it again. And again. Small, consistent, specific repetitions are what fill the evidence file. Grand gestures and one-time attempts are not. The third shift is to examine the conversation you are having with yourself. Most people narrate their own lives with a cruelty they would never aim at another person. They catalog failures. They predict disasters. They speak to themselves about their limitations with a certainty they would never accept from anyone else. Your internal narrative is constructing your evidence file just as much as your external actions are. Begin noticing when you are being inaccurate. Not too negative, not falsely positive, but inaccurate. Because the truth about you is almost certainly more balanced than the story your harshest internal voice is telling. The fourth shift is to remove the comparisons that are not serving you. Not out of weakness, out of clear-eyed intelligence. Your attention is the most finite resource you have. Spending it on content that consistently makes you feel behind, inadequate, or like you have missed something that everyone else was given, that is a choice. And it is a choice you can unmake. Real confidence is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not need to. It lives in the person who can hear criticism without collapsing. Who can fail at something important without deciding that the failure permanently defines them. Who can walk into a situation where the outcome is genuinely unknown, where there are no guarantees, no certainties, no safety nets, and take the first step anyway. That kind of confidence is not given. It is not inherited. It is not performed. It is built, slowly, imperfectly. One uncomfortable action at a time. One piece of evidence at a time. One moment of choosing the difficult thing over the comfortable thing at a time. And it compounds. Every time you do the hard thing and survive, the next hard thing requires slightly less courage. Every time you move toward fear and discover that you are still standing on the other side, the fear loses a little of its authority. Every time you choose action over comfort, you become slightly more of the person who chooses action. And one day you look back and realize the file is full. Not because you were born with something special, because you kept showing up. The person you admire most for their confidence almost certainly did not feel it when they started. What they did was start anyway, and then keep going past the point where most people decide it is not for them. You can do the same, not by believing in yourself more forcefully, by doing the thing more consistently, imperfectly, repeatedly, and for long enough that the evidence becomes undeniable. That is what confidence actually looks like before it looks like confidence. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.